99% of people over 70 believe they can't sleep well simply because of their age. They think waking up at 2 or 3 a.m. is just something they have to accept. The truth is, they're eating the wrong things in the evening. Some vegetables, which seem perfectly healthy, can actually trigger cortisol, the stress hormone, making your brain wide awake at the very time it should be resting. But what most people aren't told is this: there are other vegetables, and if eaten the right way and at the right time in the evening, they can turn off cortisol in just a few hours and help your body get back to deep, uninterrupted sleep. And the most powerful one, I'll reveal it at the end of this video. It even has the ability to directly influence the genes that control your body's stress response. In this video, I'll show you these vegetables from mild to the strongest so you can start incorporating them as soon as tonight. If you're over 60 and care about your sleep, your hormones, and long-term health, hit subscribe and turn on the notifications right now. These tips are made just for you to help you sleep deeper, feel healthier, and live each day with more peace of mind. Before we dive into the 7 main vegetables for tonight, let's take a moment to understand what cortisol is and why it becomes such a hidden danger after age 60. Let's talk about cortisol, a hormone most people have only heard of in passing, but one that quietly controls the health of so many people over 60. When we're younger, cortisol is actually a good friend. It helps wake us up in the morning, keeps our reflexes sharp in dangerous situations, and gives us the energy to get through stressful days. In short, cortisol was made to protect our lives. But the problem starts after 60, especially once we hit 70. At this stage, our bodies don't clear cortisol as efficiently as they used to. Imagine cortisol like a home security alarm. When there's real danger, the bell rings and that's necessary. But at 70, that alarm is broken. It won't turn off. Instead of cortisol peaking in the morning to wake us up and dropping at night so our bodies can rest, for many older adults, cortisol stays high all night long. And that's when the trouble begins. High cortisol puts the body into survival mode. Even if we eat less, no matter how disciplined we are, cortisol quietly tells the body, store energy just in case danger comes. And the safest place right around the belly. That's why so many people sigh and say, I'm not eating much, but my belly keeps growing. But it doesn't stop there. High cortisol also steals our deep sleep. The brain doesn't dare fully relax. We may sleep, but it's restless, easily waking at 2 or 3 a.m. Without deep sleep, the brain can't repair itself. Hormones get out of balance and muscles don't regenerate properly. Over time, high cortisol acts like a silent acid. It erodes muscle, shrinks memory regions in the brain, and increases the risk of diabetes, heart disease, and even dementia. That's why many experts call cortisol the silent aging hormone. And here's the most important part. This is not your fault. It's a biological mechanism we can understand and reset if we take the right approach. All right, let's start with the first vegetable. It's one you all know very well, so familiar, in fact, that many people don't even believe it actually works. Spinach, or as most Americans affectionately call it, spinach. In over 30 years of working with patients over 50, I've noticed something interesting. The most effective sleep solutions rarely come from strong medications. They usually come from very small, very familiar thing, but used at the right time. Spinach is a perfect example. This leafy green is particularly rich in bioavailable magnesium and folate vitamin B9. Magnesium is the mineral I see missing most often in older adults. And when magnesium is low, the nervous system is like a car with failing brakes. Your brain struggles to slow down at night. Biologically, magnesium helps calm the HPA axis, the system that controls stress and cortisol in your body. When this axis relaxes, cortisol naturally starts to drop. No force, no pushing, just a gentle reminder to your body, it's safe to rest now. Folate plays a subtler role. It supports the brain in producing serotonin and melatonin, the hormones of calm and deep sleep. That's why many of my patients tell me I don't fall asleep instantly, but my mind calms down almost immediately. Using it is simple. Lightly steam or saute, add a tablespoon of olive oil. Just a small bowl, about 1 cup, or 5 to 60 minutes before bed. One important note, don't eat raw spinach at night. It can cause bloating and make sleep harder. And avoid canned spinach. Most of the magnesium is gone. If you're looking for a gentle first step to switch off cortisol at night, spinach is a very reliable choice. If you find this helpful, leave me a comment. And if you're not satisfied type 0, I'm always looking to make this better for you. Now let's move on to the second vegetable, a veggie that many seasoned American cooks recognize, but not everyone knows its special powers: asparagus. Over the years, I've worked with hundreds of patients over 50, and one of the most common problems I hear about is waking up in the middle of the night, mind racing, heart pounding. I often ask, what do you eat before bed? And the answers honestly sometimes make me smile. Often, just familiar foods, but prepared in a way that unintentionally triggers cortisol, keeping the brain wide awake when it should be resting. Asparagus is truly a natural calm switch thanks to two key components, asparagine and vitamin B6. From my clinical experience, B6 is the key for producing GABA, the neurotransmitter I like to call the brain's brake. When GABA rises, cortisol starts to drop and the body gradually drifts into relaxation, letting deep sleep return. Using it is simple. I recommend lightly steaming or roasting asparagus. Just a pinch of sea salt, a few drops of olive oil. About 4-6 spears eaten roughly an hour before bed is just right. Avoid sauteing in too much oil and definitely skip the canned stuff. Most of the B6 is gone and the effect almost disappears. One thing I've learned over decades of exploring sleep in older adults, small, properly timed changes can make a huge difference. A light dinner, a few well-prepared spears of asparagus not only soothes the body, but sends the signal to the brain. It's time to rest. And these small signals, accumulated over time, help you wake up the next morning feeling refreshed and peaceful. Next, let's move on to the third vegetable, a veggie many people might not immediately think of when it comes to sleep: bitter melon. Over my 30 years working with patients over 50, I noticed an interesting pattern. Many older adults wake up in the middle of the night, hands trembling, sweating, sometimes suddenly feeling hungry. When I ask about their evening meals, they often say they ate something light, but not enough to keep their blood sugar balanced. And that's when cortisol, the stress hormone, spikes at night, keeping the brain and body on high alert when they should be resting. Bitter melon is a quiet helper that stabilizes blood sugar. Two key compounds, carotene and polypeptide P, help the body maintain steady glucose levels. When blood sugar is balanced, the body doesn't switch to alarm mode and cortisol naturally drops. The result? Sleep becomes deeper, smoother, more restorative. Using it is simple and gentle on the digestive system or for older adults. You can lightly boil or steam it, or even make a thin soup. About half a cup, roughly 90 minutes before bedtime, is perfect. I usually recommend it for patients who wake at night with trembling hands, sweating, or those with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. It's not magic, but it's a natural, safe, and effective solution when used consistently. From my experience, small changes like this, a light balanced dinner with a few scientifically chosen veggies, can make a huge difference. When the body isn't on alert all night, you wake up the next morning feeling light, calm, and ready to start your day with energy. The fourth vegetable I want to talk about is purple sweet potato. This is one of those deep sleep hacks I often recommend to patients over 60. Many people assume all sweet potatoes are the same, but color actually matters. Purple sweet potatoes are packed with a group of compounds called anthocyanins, which act directly on the amygdala in the brain, the center that regulates stress and emotions. I remember one patient, Linda, 72 years old. She used to wake up at 2, 3 a.m., tossing and turning nauseous. After trying a half of a steamed purple sweet potato, cooled with a sprinkle of cinnamon and a spoon of almond butter about 60-90 minutes before bedtime, she told me something amazing. For the first time in months, her sleep felt deep and uninterrupted. The next morning, she woke up feeling truly refreshed, her mind light, no longer tired or stressed like before. Why does it work so well? Anthocyanins help calm the brain, reduce nighttime cortisol, and support stable blood sugar, preventing those glucose spikes that often wake you up. Purple sweet potatoes are also natural, easy to digest, and gentle on the stomach, something very important for older adults. A few quick tips: don't peel it because many anthocyanins are in the skin, and don't overcook to preserve nutrients. You can add a touch of cinnamon or almond butter to enhance flavor and relaxation. Honestly, just half a purple sweet potato, lightly prepared, is a simple but powerful step to let your body naturally lower cortisol, drift into deep sleep, and recharge overnight. If you find this tip helpful, leave a 1 in the comments to let me know you're following along. And now let's move on to the fifth vegetable, one of the secret weapons for reducing cortisol even more. Now let's talk about a lesser known but incredibly powerful friend for deep sleep: celery root, or celeriac. And just to be clear, this is not the celery stalk you usually see in salads. When I first suggested this root to my older patients, many looked at me skeptically, but the results were truly remarkable. Celery root contains a natural compound called 3N-butylide. According to the sleep lab studies at the University of Chicago, this compound helps calm the neural pathways that tend to trigger cortisol at night. In other words, it tells the brain, hey, it's safe to relax now. This reduces those middle-of-the-night awakenings and even lowers morning cortisol levels. I've seen it work firsthand. Take Robert, 68 years old. He used to wake up 3-4 times each night. After a few weeks of adding steamed and lightly sautéed celery root to his late dinner, he told me that his sleep became noticeably deeper and he woke up feeling alert and refreshed. No more groggy mornings. The method is simple but important. Peel it, cut into small cubes, lightly sauté with a touch of coconut oil, and enjoy it with a warm cup of water about an hour before bed. Half a cup is usually enough for the body to absorb without feeling heavy. And crucially, avoid pairing it with a very heavy dinner, and don't overcook it, otherwise the active compounds are lost. At first glance, celery root may seem ordinary, but its effect on deep sleep is anything but. It's a perfect example of how sometimes the most natural, simple solutions can create the biggest changes, especially for those of us over 60 or 70. Now let's talk about the sixth vegetable I often recommend my older patients add to their dinner: lacinato kale, also known as dinosaur kale. Many people confuse this with the curly kale you usually see in those prepackaged bags. The difference isn't just in appearance, it's in the nutritional value and its impact on sleep. Lacinato kale is packed with magnesium, calcium, and vitamin K2 minerals our bodies desperately need once we hit 60 or 70. Magnesium in particular acts as a natural off switch for cortisol, calming the nervous system after a long, stressful day. Calcium and vitamin K2 don't just support strong bones, they work in subtle harmony with the nervous system, helping reduce those middle-of-the-night awakenings that so many of my patients complain about. I still remember Margaret, 72, a patient I've followed for years. She used to wake up around 2 to 3 a.m., then drag herself through the day feeling exhausted. When I suggested adding lightly sautéed lacinato kale with garlic, a squeeze of fresh lemon, and a drizzle of tahini, about half a cup, about an hour before bed, she came back after a week and said, "Dr. Mitchell, I haven't slept this deeply since I retired." Preparation is key. Massage the leaves to soften them, sauté lightly with garlic, and add lemon and tahini to preserve the nutrients and enhance flavor. Avoid prepackaged kale or ordinary curly kale because much of the magnesium and precious nutrients are lost. Eating it about an hour before sleep allows your body to absorb the goodness and prepare for a deep restorative night. It may seem simple, but lacinato kale is a powerful ally for anyone wanting to lower nighttime cortisol and wake up with renewed energy. It's proof that sometimes small intentional changes at dinner can make a big difference in quality of life. Finally, I want to introduce a vegetable I often call the super warrior for sleep, sprouted broccoli. The name might sound unusual to some, but trust me, the power of this vegetable goes far beyond its usual vitamins or minerals. The golden compound here is sulforaphane, a truly special molecule that can directly influence the genes controlling cortisol. In other words, it can reprogram how your body responds to stress, something I see as absolutely crucial for patients over 60 when stress responses become more sensitive and sleep more fragile. I remember John, 75, a patient I've been following. He used to wake up in the middle of the night and drag himself through the morning tired and achy. When I suggested trying sprouted broccoli, just 1/4 cup before bed, chopped properly soaked, and rinsed with a little mustard powder to boost sulforaphane, after just a few weeks, he told me I wake up without feeling exhausted, my mind is clear, and I feel lighter. It was living proof that eating the right vegetable at the right time can truly change your quality of life. The method does take a bit of patience. Soak the seeds for about 8 hours, rinse twice a day, let them sprout for 3-4 days, chop finely before eating, and wait 5 minutes to maximize sulforaphane. The ideal time is about an hour before sleep, giving your body time to absorb it and prepare for deep rest. The best part, the effects increase over time if you stick with it consistently. You don't need to change everything at once. Just one vegetable, one small habit done the right way can lower cortisol, restore deep sleep, recharge energy, and support long-term health as we age. Before we wrap up, I want to highlight something really important. No vegetable or food can work like magic if we ignore the other basic pillars of health: deep sleep, lower cortisol, a healthy body. They all need a balanced approach. Eating the right vegetables at night is just the first step. True foundations come from regular sleep, proper rest, gentle daily movement, and a relaxed, joyful mindset. I've seen so many patients over 70 who during the day go for a walk, then in the evening enjoy a bowl of spinach or asparagus. Maybe add a bit of sprouted broccoli and spend a few minutes doing deep breathing or light meditation before bed. Just a few weeks later, they notice a real difference: clearer minds, calmer spirits, and deep, uninterrupted sleep all night long. So think of these vegetables as part of your self-care journey, not the only solution. Consistency matters more than perfection. Starting tonight, just one small step each evening can create a big change for both your body and your mind. Before we wrap up today, I want to stress one important point. You don't need to eat all of these vegetables at once to see results. In fact, starting with just one vegetable, but using it consistently every evening, is enough for your body to gradually lower cortisol, sleep more deeply, and wake up feeling more refreshed the next morning. As I often tell my patients, consistency matters more than perfection. A small, steady step can completely shift your body's natural rhythm. If you're over 60 and find yourself waking up in the middle of the night, mind racing, or feeling tired in the morning, try starting with just one vegetable tonight. Pay attention to how your body responds. Notice the difference and gradually add other vegetables as it feels right. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your loved ones. Health isn't just a personal journey, it's a gift you can give to the people you care about. Start tonight and let your body experience the difference day by day.